Welcome back, mums and dads. We're celebrating mums against all odds today on Great Expectations. This is our tribute to women who survived all the obstacles placed in their paths. And now it's time to meet another amazing woman, adoptive mom Robyn Wolfson-Forster. Well-known actress Valerie Harper once said, "However motherhood comes to you, it's a miracle." And adoptive mom Robyn Wolfson-Forster bears testament to this statement. Robyn's dream of motherhood started very early in her youth when she already envisioned having her perfect pigeon pair. But life and love had a different plan for her. With many obstacles standing in her way of becoming a mom, Robyn found herself at a major turning point in her life. Would she achieve her dream of having a son and a daughter? Let's find out.
It was a real heart's desire for me to have children. And in fact, so much so that when I was a youngster, I even thought about having a boy called Luke and a girl called Asher. I knew from the time that I met Neil that he'd had a vasectomy. And although people had said to us, "Oh, don't worry, they can be reversed," I really was very concerned about it. And I think at the back of my mind, I knew that we were going to struggle. I waited a long time before I went ahead with IVF. I think for me it was quite a daunting prospect. And also I did have stepdaughters, and I love them. I love them dearly. I'm very grateful for them. And I hoped that they would fill that gap in my heart. I was in my mid-30s and I realized that actually I couldn't wait any longer. IVF is very hard. It's emotionally draining. It's quite crazy. I have to say, I describe it as being like PMS on steroids, because you're just pumped full of hormones. You can't make rational decisions. You feel like your life is out of control. But it was 2 days before the embryo transfer. We only had 2 embryos left. And then on the day of the transfer, we had 1 embryo left. And I lost all hope at that point. I cried from the moment I heard through the procedure. And actually it was only because my doctor had said to me at the time, he said, "You know, Robyn, it only takes 1. I had my first scan. And then when I saw him, oh, that was my boy. There was my boy on the screen. It was a very, very precious time for me. It really was. I just loved the experience of him growing. I loved the experience of feeling him kick. It's only now that I realize how important it was that I treasured it, because it was going to be my only experience of being a pregnant mummy. He's a very precious little boy. He's bright and he's funny and he's fun-loving and he's really kind. Our first attempt at IVF after Luke was an absolute disaster. I remember a moment when I had just turned 40 and I was out for a walk and I found myself looking for babies under bushes. I thought, oh no, this is terrible. Why on earth am I doing this? It was the catalyst for me to say, okay, I need to pursue this. I need to go and have a look. I need to go and find out what is involved with adoption. Our social worker encouraged us to be really specific and to really think through how we could make the best match for our family. I just wanted a happy little girl who would come in and add light and life and joy to our family. When she found Asher, she was delightful. Asher was a felt need for Luke. From the moment that she arrived, he claimed her. She was his sister. Yes, she was our daughter as well, but she was his sister first and foremost. And she, in return, thinks that he is fabulous. One of the things I was very deliberate about was grieving the child that I couldn't have through IVF. The biological child, the one who would have my eyes and Neil's chin. And in grieving that child, I think I opened myself up to the possibility of having another child, the child that I was meant to have.
She has amazed us. I think the price for the most part.
We are a family, and there is no doubt that she is as much a part of this family as Luke is, as I am, as Neil is. It's a very, very precious thing that we've been given.
and Robyn is here right now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lebo.
You decided that you were going to name your son and your daughter Asha and Luke when you were very, very young. How
Yes.
old were you?
Probably in my late teens.
And you learned the meaning of those names much later. What do they mean?
Well, the funny thing is that I chose the names because I liked them. There
Yeah.
wasn't anything particularly significant about it at the time. But it was only much later when I realized that actually our journey was going to be quite a lot different from what I had anticipated, that their names started taking on huge significance. For Luke, we knew very early on that we were going to have to go through IVF and that our only chance of conceiving was through IVF. And I think when you do have to make a baby so intentionally, you think about a lot of things. And one of the things that concerned me as a mummy was the thought of bringing a baby into what is a very dark world.
Yeah.
And I just thought, can I do that? It's such an innocent little life.
It's amazing how when you become a mother, all of a sudden all the kind of socio-political, economic issues in the world become, they become your issues. You own them. Yeah.
Absolutely. And one day I was thinking about it and praying about it a bit, and I just had this amazing moment. It sounds very simple talking about it now, but it was really life-changing for me. I thought, no, you don't have to be afraid of the darkness,
Wow.
because the only thing that darkness needs to be extinguished is a little bit of light. And it was funny because I didn't think very much about that going forwards, but it gave me a real peace that, okay, I can go ahead and I can pursue IVF. And that was a hard journey, but we did get our one embryo, and that was our little boy. And at 16 weeks, I had a scan which confirmed that it was a son. And my hubby, no flies on him, he just named him Luke immediately.
Let's talk about the significance of Luke's name. What does it mean?
Well, this is the thing, is that I went to go and find out then what his name meant. And his name means bringer of light.
Wow. After the message had come to you, then you get the confirmation.
I got the confirmation.
So the message was always with you.
Absolutely. And he is absolutely a little bringer of light.
Did this help to give you conviction and faith that the pregnancy would be successful?
I'm not sure. I must be honest. I still struggled because I wanted to take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
But I was actually very fortunate. It was a very easy pregnancy. Everything went so well. And in fact, it was that made me think that actually if we tried again, it would be very easy too. And unfortunately, it wasn't.
When you learned the meaning of Asha's name, did that spur you on to pursue the adoption process?
Oh, absolutely. With Asha's name, she, I think it came through in the insert that we had a number of failures between Luke and when we decided to adopt.
Yes.
And I think that had been tremendously wounding for me. And I'd kind of got to the point where I had agreed with Neil that we would stop trying. And I struggled a lot to process that. I struggled to work through it. So what I did was eventually I put together a little memory box.
This is, I think that is a genius idea.
And I don't know what inspired it. It was something which was very precious for me. I just put in the little things that I had found and put on one side for the daughter that I had hoped I was going to have. Little booties and little hats.
Oh.
And a heart and some flowers. And while I was busy making this memory box, I wrote down a lot of things. And when I came to the point where I was ready to finish it, I had one last thing to do, which was to go to the baby name site and to find out what her name meant. And this was a shocking point for me because I had always believed that Asha meant what the boy's name means, which is fortunate and blessed in Hebrew, which is lovely.
Which is beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. But what I discovered is that Asha also means hope in Sanskrit and life in Swahili. And I had this profound thought because anyone who's ever been through infertility knows that every day is a fight for life and it's a fight for hope. And here I was, I had a little girl whose name meant exactly that.
And did this gave you the hope to then pursue the adoption process?
Absolutely. Well, we had one last IVF attempt after that, and that failed too. And it was at that point that I thought, this is not going to happen biologically, and we need to look at another option, which was adoption for us.
But you have your beautiful daughter, Asha, and you have your beautiful family.
Absolutely.
We're very blessed to have you on the show. We have to say goodbye to you for now, but we'll see you a little bit later. Welcome back. Today on Great Expectations, we're celebrating mums and the tremendous power that we have to overcome great obstacles. While each woman here today and many of you watching at home found your inner strength to survive all the odds against you, we think it's important to acknowledge that no man or mom in this case is an island unto themselves. Drawing on support structures is absolutely vital in maintaining our survival. And very often that support comes from our spouses, our friends, and our families. So joining us in studio with our moms are their support structures. Neil Foster is husband to adoptive mom Robyn Foster, and we're also joined by Althea Greiber and her husband Toy Greiber, and still with us is Tara Kitching. Welcome everybody, welcome. I'm going to start with you, Neil. It's very obvious when we saw the video you love your wife. How were you able to, what effect did it have on you going through the IVF process?
Well, firstly, the overall feeling I had towards Robyn was compassion, because I saw what she was going through. Her hormones were in a mess, and the stress, and we know that stress works against a successful IVF. So it's about managing her stress and so on. So I did all I could just to be there, listen to her, cry with her, pray with her, do what we had to do.
How did you help her through the range of emotions that she was experiencing at the time?
I actually don't know, but I was just there. I was doing what I could at the time. You know, we didn't ever feel like she was going through IVF. It was always us going through it.
Yeah, you never felt alone, Robyn.
No, never alone. No, he was there at every single appointment, and even when we adopted, he was there at every single appointment. It was an us thing.
When Robyn was describing her story, there were so many peaks and so many valleys, and this constant sense of going up and coming back down. How did you survive those challenges?
Sure, I'd love to say one day at a time like everyone else, but
Yeah.
I think you have the grace at the time to deal with it. There were times when we lost hope completely, and you know, when we realized her name actually meant hope, and Robyn said one day, she said, "I can't give up on hope."
Beautiful. And life.
And we went, and we went back for more IVF, and that didn't work. And actually, I'm very grateful now, because now we have Asha.
Wow. Your story is an excellent example of how miraculous it is to be a parent, no matter what the road is that leads you to parenting. And what is your message to couples who are on the journey of IVF and who are battling or who are contemplating adoption and don't know whether it's the right thing for them to do? What's your message of hope or encouragement for them?
I think for us, adoption is the best decision we've ever made. And I do think get good support, get good advice, get good counsel, but it's a gift. And I think everyone says it's a gift to a child, and it absolutely is.
It is.
But we also believe it's a gift that you give your family as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Would you like to add, Neil?
Just that our whole family is completely in love with her. You know,
She's hard not to love. She's adorable.
It's to me, I personally say, it's the most wholesome decision I've ever made in my life.
Wow.
You know, it's just added so much to me, and at the background, you always know what it's done to her. You know what her life could have been if we hadn't adopted her. But most of the time, we just see the effect on us, and you know, she's just a bundle of joy.